My sister was standing at the front, beaming in her white dress, when my video started playing on the projector. The room went silent. In the video, I explained exactly why I wasn't there and what she and her new husband had done behind my back. I watched the chaos unfold from my living room. Would you have said something in my place or just walked away? I keep replaying it, wondering if I missed a moment to stand up for myself. Tell me what you'd have done. I'm Rachel. I'm 29. My parents live about 20 minutes away, in a Connecticut neighborhood where the streets all have tree names and the lawns are always trimmed. I'm the oldest daughter. If you asked my mother, she'd probably say I'm headstrong. She uses that word a lot, always with a little sigh. My sister Emily is 4 years younger. She's the one everyone calls sweet, organized, so easy to love. If you scroll my mom's Facebook, it's filled with Emily's college graduation, her puppy, her new job, and now her engagement. There's one photo of me at Christmas, half out of frame, holding a plate. I moved out 2 years ago. We had a fight in my parents' kitchen about a loan Emily took from me, $1, $500. She said she'd pay me back once her internship started, but months went by. I mentioned it at dinner. My mom said I should be patient, that Emily's under a lot of pressure. Dad made a joke about me being a debt collector. Emily just looked at her phone. I left that night and didn't come back for a while. Since then, they invite me to things, but always last minute. I get a text at 10 a.m. Hey, we're having people over tonight if you want to drop by. Sometimes they send photos in the group chat. Everyone at the pumpkin patch or at Emily's birthday, and I'm not in any of them. When I ask why I wasn't told, it's always, oh, it was spontaneous, or we thought you had plans. When Emily got engaged, I found out with everyone else. She sent a group text to announce it. No personal call, no heads up. The group chat feels like a club I'm allowed to visit, but never join. Little things add up. At Thanksgiving, my name was missing from the seating cards. At Christmas, my present was wrapped in leftover birthday paper. If I ask, they act surprised like it's nothing. But remembering it now, I see how careful they were to keep me on the outside. My phone was on speaker, lying face up on the coffee table. I stared down at it, one socked foot tucked under me. The living room was silent, except for my mother's voice coming through the tinny speaker. Rachel, it would mean a lot to your sister if you came, she said. The words had that careful, clipped rhythm she used, when she'd already decided I was being unreasonable. I looked at the ceiling. I'd heard this line for months. I should have just let it go to voicemail, but I picked up out of habit. Her tone was the same as when she pushed me to take Emily to the mall, or when she said I should give Emily my old bedroom because it was bigger. I'm not coming, I said, my voice flat. I'd said it before. I don't know if I believed I'd stick to it. Dad's voice cut in, louder and sharper. Don't make this about you, Rachel. It's not your day. I stared at the phone. They were on speaker together, probably sitting side by side at the kitchen counter. Dad's voice always sounded like he was halfway through a lecture, even when he was just asking about the weather. I said, I'm not making it about me. Mom's sigh was the long, theatrical kind that made me picture her pressing her palm to her forehead. Rachel, you'll regret this. She's your sister. I didn't answer. I pressed my thumbnail into my palm and waited. You're just bitter and jealous, Dad said. That's all this is. Bitter and jealous. The silence after that was heavy. I heard something clink, maybe Mom's wedding ring against her mug. I'm not coming, I said again. I meant for it to sound final, but it came out quieter than I wanted. Fine, Dad said. Suit yourself. The call clicked off. I stared at the black screen for a second. My hand was shaking, and I flexed my fingers to make it stop. I just sat there, listening to the refrigerator hum and the faint traffic outside my window. I stood up and walked to my bedroom. My laptop was on the desk, still open from this morning. I pulled the chair out and sat down, legs numb. I opened the camera app and stared at my own face for a second. My eyes looked tired, but I didn't bother fixing my hair. I hit record. "Hey, Emily," I said, looking straight at the camera. I tried to keep my voice even. "I'm sorry I couldn't be there today. I hope you have a good wedding. I hope you're happy." I paused. I could hear my own breathing, harsh and close in the small room. "I'm not coming because it wouldn't feel honest," I said. "I hope that makes sense to you. Anyway, congratulations." I stopped the recording. I played it back once, watching my face stay blank the whole time. I saved the video as "For Emily, play at reception." I closed the laptop and pushed my chair back, letting it bump against the wall. I went to the kitchen and ran the tap, filling a glass with cold water. My hand still shook a little. I drank, then set the glass in the sink harder than I meant to. For a moment, I just stood there, looking at the kitchen window and the dark sky outside. I listened for my phone, half expecting it to ring again, but it stayed silent on the coffee table. I looked at the clock. It was almost midnight. The apartment felt too quiet, every sound echoing. I stood in the dark kitchen, breathing in and out, and waited for the feeling to pass. My phone buzzed right after dinner. I was sitting at the kitchen table, the blue light from the fridge humming behind me. Emily's name popped up. I read it twice. I could picture her, thumb stabbing the screen, eyebrows pinched. She always had a way of making things sound like a command and a plea at the same time. I let the phone sit on the table for a minute. I heard the neighbor's dog barking and the sound of a car door slamming outside. I wrote back, "It's your big day. I'm letting you have it." She didn't answer with words, just sent a thumbs up emoji. That was the end of it. No more, no less. I put my phone face down and stared at the table for a while, at the scratches and water rings from cups nobody bothered to use a coaster for. I wasn't sure if I felt relief or something else. About an hour later, I was loading the dishwasher when my laptop chimed. I dried my hands, flipped it open, and saw Mom's name in my inbox. The subject line just said, "Slideshow." Her message was sharp and tidy, like always. "At least send a nice message for the slide. Don't embarrass us." She debolded the word nice. I could imagine her sitting in the living room, glasses perched on her nose, typing each word with her index finger like she was poking holes in the screen. I scrolled back to Emily's text, then stared at Mom's email again. They'd both made it clear what they expected, silence or something close to it. I found the video file on my desktop, the one Emily had sent weeks ago, asking everyone in the family to record a quick congratulations for her engagement. I remembered filming it in my bedroom, keeping my voice flat, saying the right things. "Congratulations, hope you're happy, all that." I didn't mention anything about Mark. I didn't say anything about trust or the past. I just looked into the camera and smiled the way people do when they're not sure what to say. I attached the file to a new email, typed "consider it done," and hit send. No exclamation points, no sign-off. I closed the laptop and stood there for a second, watching the screen go black. The kitchen was quiet, except for the low hum of the dishwasher. I waited for a reply, half expecting Mom to write back, tell me to do it again, make it warmer. But nothing came, not that night or the next morning. I got ready for bed, washed my face, brushed my teeth. My phone stayed silent on the nightstand. I lay there in the dark, listening to the faint traffic outside, feeling the space between me and them stretch a little wider. In the morning, the only thing in my inbox was a newsletter and a receipt. No messages from Mom, nothing from Emily. I made coffee, sat at the table again, and watched the sunlight creep across the floor. It felt like everyone had decided what role I was supposed to play and was waiting to see if I'd step out of line. Not yet. I drank my coffee, checked my phone, scrolled through old photos. Emily's engagement post was still pinned to the top of her feed. Her and Mark, smiling, her hand on his chest. Hundreds of likes, dozens of comments. I wondered if any of them remembered last Christmas, or the fights, or the things people said when they thought nobody was listening. I put my phone away, finished my coffee, and started getting ready for work. No one wanted a scene. I'd given them what they wanted, my face on a slideshow, my silence in the group chat. It was easier for them that way. Easier for me, too, at least for now. Sarah's text came through while I was sitting in my car outside my apartment. She wrote, "They're about to play your message." I had my phone in my hand, but I didn't reply. I just waited. The video wasn't long, maybe 90 seconds if that. I'd recorded it the night before, sitting at my kitchen table in a sweatshirt. I looked straight at the camera. My hair was pulled back, and I didn't bother with makeup. I congratulated Emily and said I wished I could be there, which was true in a way. Then I picked up the paper. I held it close to the camera, the Venmo logo clear, the amount $3,800, sent by me to Emily 8 months ago. The caption underneath read, "For wedding dress will pay back." In the video, I said, "Emily, you never paid me back, but I wanted everyone to know how much I contributed to your big day. Wishing you all the best." My voice stayed flat. I made sure of that. I didn't want to sound angry or bitter. Just factual. Sarah texted again. "It's playing." She typed, "Room is dead quiet." I waited, watching the 3 little dots as she kept typing and deleting. "You should see their faces," she finally sent. I pictured the room. The reception hall was at the country club, white tablecloths, gold chairs. I imagined Emily sitting at the head table, a glass of champagne in her hand. Our mother would be near her, probably smiling until the video got to my part. The best man had just finished his toast, and the DJ announced there was a special message from the maid of honor who couldn't be there in person. Sarah didn't describe what Emily did when the Venmo part came up. She just kept texting, "People are whispering. Aunt Lisa looks sick. Emily is staring at the screen." I didn't check the family group chat. I knew messages would start coming soon, but I wanted to hear it from Sarah first. I trusted her to tell me the truth. She sent another text. "Uncle Ryan is laughing. He just said, 'Guess that's one way to make a point.'" I leaned back in my seat. Outside, the street was quiet. I could hear a dog barking somewhere far away. My hand shook a little, but it passed. I thought about the times I'd asked Emily to pay me back. The first time, she promised she'd get it sorted next paycheck. The second time, she ignored my text. The last time, she said, "You know how weddings are. It's all going on the credit card. I'll pay you after the honeymoon, promise." Sarah texted again. "DJ just went to a song. No one is dancing. Emily's fiancé looks pissed." I asked, did she say anything? Sarah replied she just got up and walked out. Mom followed her. Dad is still sitting at the table. I wondered if Emily would try to call me. I doubted it. She hated confrontation. She preferred to act like things never happened, or that they were someone else's problem. I put my phone on silent and set it down beside me. I sat in my car and watched the sun go down behind the building across the street. My phone buzzed again. "Sarah, some cousins are saying you shouldn't have done that in public. Grandma said if Emily owed her, she should have paid her." Then Sarah added, "I wish you'd come. It's weird without you." I stared at her last message for a long time. I didn't reply, not right then. I just let it sit there, like the silence in the reception hall after my video played. Later, when I checked the group chat, there were messages from my mother and two aunts. My mother wrote, "Call me when you see this." Aunt Lisa wrote, "Not the time or place." Aunt Janice just sent a question mark. I didn't answer any of them. I closed my phone and sat quietly, listening to the low hum of traffic outside. Emily pushed past the double doors, heels scraping against the marble, her dress catching on the handle for a second before she yanked it free. Mom hurried after her, head down, almost jogging. I heard the tail end of their voices echoing into the parking lot, the word embarrassment sharp in Mom's tone. I stayed where I was for a minute, letting the doors swing shut. Dad started talking, loud enough for the nearest tables to hear. "Folks, Rachel's had a tough year," he said. "She's not herself. Emily's always been there for her. You all know how close they used to be." He tried to laugh, and then he lowered his voice, just enough so it sounded like a secret but not enough for it to be private. "Unstable," he said. "Sometimes family just breaks a little." I couldn't move. My phone buzzed, Sarah's name on the screen. She sent a video, 26 seconds. I clicked it, still standing half-hidden behind the curtain near the coat racks. It showed the dessert table, emptying plates, people glancing at each other. In the background, a woman's voice, Aunt Linda, probably. Did Emily really steal from her own sister? A man replied, "I don't know, but Rachel's always been dramatic." Maybe she just wanted attention. Another voice, someone I didn't know, "That's not drama." She sounded scared. I watched the video again. I could see the backs of Dad's shoulders as he leaned in, talking to the wedding planner, gesturing towards the doors. The planner nodded, started collecting empty glasses. No one looked at me, but I felt seen anyway. My hands shook, so I put my phone in my bag and walked out the side exit. The wind outside felt stale. I called a rideshare, driver named Alyssa, 5 minutes away. I stood by the curb, still in that dress, still with my hair done, and texted Sarah. "Thanks for the video." She sent back, "Let me know if you need anything." "You did the right thing." I didn't answer. I sat in the quiet car, staring out the window while the driver made small talk I couldn't follow. She dropped me at my apartment. I tipped her too much and walked inside, shoes dangling from one hand, purse in the other. The apartment felt colder than usual. I hung up my dress, undid every pin from my hair, washed off my makeup. The silence hit me harder than any of the looks at the reception. I ordered Thai food, pad see ew, extra tofu. The delivery guy came up, handed over the bag, didn't look at me. I took my laptop to the kitchen table, opened it, and started pulling up receipts. I scrolled through my Venmo history, screenshot every payment labeled Emily's rent, Emily groceries, Emily car, every single one from the last 2 years. I checked the dates, cross-referenced with texts she'd sent about being short this month, or Mom and Dad say they'll pay me back later. I didn't cry, just kept working, careful to label each file with the date and reason. I opened Google Drive, created a new folder, Emily transfers. I set it to private, checked the settings twice. Uploaded every screenshot, every PDF from my bank. I made a document with a timeline. When the payments started, when they got bigger, when Emily bought her new bag, her iPad, her plane tickets to Miami. I wrote nothing else, just the facts and the dates. The pad CEO got cold. I ate it anyway, phone propped up so I could watch Sarah's video again. Every time I heard the voices, did Emily really steal? My stomach twisted. But I kept playing it, letting the words settle until they didn't sting as much. I thought about texting Emily, or Mom, or Dad. I left my phone across the room and finished my dinner in silence. My phone rang before I'd even finished my first coffee. Emily's name flashed. I stared at the screen a second too long, then picked up. Her voice sounded thin, almost hoarse. How could you do that? I didn't answer for a moment. I just listened to the background noise. Maybe traffic, maybe her breathing. Then I said, how could you? She went quiet. I pictured her sitting on the edge of her bed, hair pulled up, hands shaking. She only got like this when she'd been caught lying as a kid. I waited for her to fill the silence. So I tried again, slower. Why did you take it, Emily? She started talking too fast. I didn't. Well, I did, but I was always going to pay you back, I swear. I just needed it for the deposit. I thought you wouldn't even notice, at least not for a while. I let her words sit there. They sounded small, even to her. I don't care about the deposit, I said. I care that you lied. She started crying, but it wasn't loud. I could hear her swallow, like she was trying to keep it down. I didn't want to do it this way, I just needed help. Mark's parents weren't going to help anymore, and Dad said you'd be fine. You always are. I felt my jaw clench. Did Mom know? Did Dad? The line got thin, the kind of pause that only happens when someone's deciding whether to tell the truth. Then she whispered, they both knew. Dad helped me set up the transfer. He said you probably wouldn't mind, that you didn't need it. I almost dropped the phone. He used my account. She sniffed. I didn't mean to take it all. I was supposed to ask you first. Dad said to just do it, that you'd forgive me. I thought about Dad keeping my old phone for emergencies, the one I left behind when I upgraded. I'd never bothered to wipe it because he said he'd just use it for weather alerts, or if someone needed a spare. I felt the edge of something sharp in my chest, but I kept my voice flat. Did you use my phone? She hesitated. Dad said it was easier. He logged in. He showed me how. I just watched. My hands felt cold. You realize that's illegal, right? You can't just... The call cut off. No goodbye, no excuse. She hung up, or maybe the signal died, but she was gone. I stared at my phone. Then I opened my banking app. Scrolled back to the transfer. The authorization ping was from a device labeled iPhone 8, my old one. Dad's emergency phone. I checked the location. It matched their house. I sat there, phone in hand, coffee cooling on the table. No text from Mom. Nothing from Dad. It was all there, in the transaction logs. The withdrawal, the timestamp, the device. I took a screenshot, then another, just in case. I didn't know what I'd need them for, but it felt like something I should do. The house was quiet. The fridge hummed. I could hear my neighbor's dog bark through the kitchen wall. I kept thinking about Emily's voice, how she sounded more scared than sorry. How she said Dad told her it was fine, that I'd forgive her. I put the phone down. I didn't call anyone back. I didn't cry. I just sat there, staring at the proof, feeling like the ground under me had shifted, and I was the only one who noticed. Getting the transaction logs took 3 days. I went into the branch, sat across from a woman named Marie, and told her I needed every detail on the transfer from my savings. She asked if there'd been fraud. I said I'm not sure yet. She printed a form for me to sign and said I'd get a digital copy within 48 hours. I checked my inbox every couple hours after that. The logs came in late on a Tuesday. There wasn't much mystery. The transfer was made at 2:31 p.m. on a Wednesday from the online portal. The device ID listed on the log matched my dad's iPad. I recognized it right away. He'd shown me the serial when he bought it, all proud of how he'd gotten it on sale. The IP address was their home network. Every field lined up. I sat at my desk and read it twice. There was no way around it. He didn't just move the money. He did it from his own device, in his own house, in the middle of the afternoon. No attempt to hide it. He hadn't even called me first. The date stung. I'd been at work, thinking he was probably napping or watching TV. I didn't call him. I typed up a short email and attached the PDFs. The subject line was simple: transaction on June 12. The body said, "Care to explain this?" I hit send before I could think about it. His reply came within the hour. It was 3 sentences. It was for family. "You're making trouble for no reason. We'll talk when you calm down." No apology, no explanation, just a flat dismissal. I stared at it for a while. The anger didn't come all at once. It was more like a slow, steady weight pressing down. I printed his email and the logs, stapled them together, and put them in a manila folder I'd labeled evidence in pencil. I kept the folder in my desk drawer, next to some old tax forms and a stack of blank checks. That night, I pulled out my laptop and started searching for information about small claims court. The government site was plain, full of PDFs and numbered steps. The process was pretty clear. Submit a form, pay a filing fee, serve the defendant, show up with evidence. The idea of sitting in a courtroom with my dad across from me felt sickening, but I kept reading. I bookmarked the page on how to serve papers. I made a list in a notebook. Transaction logs. Dad's email. Bank account statements. Texts about the loan, if I could find any. I underlined the word evidence twice. I kept picturing Dad's face the last time I saw him, that little frown he got when he thought I was being dramatic. I wondered who he'd tell first: Mom, Aunt Rita, his friends from the club. I imagined him saying, "She's overreacting, it was just a little money, she'll get over it." I didn't answer his email. I wanted him to wonder what I was doing. I turned my phone face down and left it on silent, just in case. My hands shook a little when I thought about the next step. I didn't want to drag my father into court, but the thought of letting it slide felt worse. I kept seeing the line in his email: "You're making trouble for no reason." I wrote it out in my notebook. It was for family. Underneath, in smaller letters, I wrote, "Whose family?" My phone buzzed on the coffee table. It was a group text from Mom. She never used group texts unless it was something official, some family announcement. I picked it up, just expecting another round of guilt tripping. Instead, her words were short, clipped. "We're cutting off contact until you apologize. You embarrassed Emily and ruined her wedding." Below that, she'd attached a screenshot. It was a Facebook post. The family photo from the reception, the one I'm not in, the one with everyone lined up smiling under that rented arch. The caption read, "Rachel chose not to be with us on Emily's happiest day." Family is everything. A few lines down, I saw the post was set to public. Anyone could see it. I scrolled through the comments. Some cousins, "We missed you, Rachel, and hope you're okay." Then, deeper in the thread, my Aunt Linda, "Is it true about the money?" That one stopped me. No likes, just silence underneath. It hung there, out of place in the middle of all the fake concern. I sat back, thumb on the screen, watching the comment count tick up. A few people said things like, "I'm sure there's more to the story," or "Hope everyone makes up soon." Someone else, a distant relative, wrote, "Emily deserved a perfect day." Then a neighbor chimed in, "Money issues ruin everything." It kept going. I didn't answer the group text. I didn't answer anyone, actually. I just watched the notifications stack up. I could see Mom was online. The 3 dots popped up like she was about to send something more, then disappeared. I checked the group thread again. Emily had added a heart reaction to Mom's message. Dad wrote, "We just want you to do the right thing." My stomach felt tight, but I stayed silent. Another notification. The post had more comments. I clicked back. "Aunt Linda again. I'm confused." Why would Rachel miss her own sister's wedding? Has this got to do with the loan? For a second, nobody replied. Then another aunt, Aunt May, wrote, "People should be honest about money. Family should help each other." I saw a friend from high school had liked that one. I kept scrolling. Buried in the thread, a cousin posted, "Rachel's always been generous." I doubt she'd skip for no reason. It was small, but it was the first time anyone had defended me. I looked at the group text, then at the Facebook post. The story was starting to slip. Not everyone was buying their version. I could see it in the way people left questions unanswered, in the way nobody gave a straight answer about what actually happened. I went to Emily's page. She de-changed her profile photo to one from the wedding, her and her new husband, all white dress and forced smiles. Her status was a quote about forgiveness and moving on. No mention of me, but the timing was obvious. I set my phone down. A minute later, it buzzed again. Another message from Dad, but private this time. "You need to make this right. People are asking questions." I didn't answer. I just let the screen go dark. The house was quiet. I could hear my neighbor's dog barking outside. I realized for the first time that I didn't care about the Facebook post itself. I cared that the story was changing. People were noticing the gap, the way nobody would say what actually happened. It wasn't just me pushing back, now. The cracks were showing. I just watched as the comments kept building, the family's version of events slipping a little further out of their hands. For the first time since the wedding, I felt something other than anger. It was more like relief. The office was in a strip mall near the highway. The windows had blinds, half closed, and the waiting area smelled faintly like coffee grounds. I sat with my folder on my lap. I'd organized everything the night before. Venmo screenshots, my bank statements, printouts of the emails, and a page where I'd written the dates and amounts. My hands felt steady as I waited for my name. The receptionist called me in. The attorney was a woman around 50, sharp eyes, navy blazer. She introduced herself and motioned for me to sit. She didn't waste time on small talk. I pushed the folder across the desk. She opened it and started going through the pages, one by one. I watched her lips move as she read the payment notes. "Loan for Emily, Emily's rent, repay when you can." She asked, "You lent this all to your sister?" I nodded. She kept reading. "How much in total?" $3,800. The last payment was 2 months ago. She asked, "Has she paid anything back?" "No." She promised she would. I pointed out the emails, the ones where Emily said she'd pay as soon as she got her bonus. The attorney stacked the papers and leaned back. "Well, you have a solid case. All the documentation helps. She can't claim it was a gift. These Venmo notes and emails are clear." I waited. She explained how small claims court worked. I wouldn't need her to represent me, but she could prepare the filing paperwork for a flat fee. She said, "It's straightforward. You submit the claim, there's a hearing date, you both show up, the judge decides." She glanced at me. "Most people settle before the hearing, but not always." I asked, "What if she just refuses?" She shrugged. "If you win, and she still won't pay, you can pursue wage garnishment or a lien. But that's rare in family cases. Usually, the pressure is enough." I nodded again. I heard my own voice, sounding small and dry. "I'll do it." The attorney started filling out the paperwork on her computer. She asked for Emily's address, my address, the breakdown of payments. I handed her the sheet where I'd written the timeline. She checked the math. She added the filing fee to the claim, then printed out the forms. She slid them across for me to sign. I hesitated for a second. My hand hovered above the paper. Then I signed. It was quiet in the office, except for the faint hum of the heater. The attorney smiled, not kindly, but like she'd seen this 100 times. She said, "I'll file these for you. You'll get a notice in the mail with the court date. They'll serve her the papers." I asked, "Does she have to know this is coming?" "She will, when she's served. You don't have to tell her yourself. She'll get it from the court." I thanked her. She handed me a copy of the paperwork, stapled. I tucked it into my folder and stood up. She told me to call if I had questions. The entire meeting took under 40 minutes. I drove home with the folder on the passenger seat. I didn't call anyone. I went upstairs, closed my bedroom door, and put the folder in my desk drawer. I didn't text Emily. I didn't say anything to my parents. I made tea and sat in the kitchen, listening to the water boil. The next day, I woke up before my alarm. I checked my email, but there was nothing yet from the court. I got dressed, went to work, and acted normal. At lunch, I scrolled through my texts with Emily. The last one was from 3 weeks ago. I stared at her words. "I promise I'll handle it soon." I closed my phone and put it away. At home, my parents were watching TV. My mom asked if I wanted to join. I said I had a headache and went to my room. The paperwork was still in the drawer. I went through it again, reading each page. I waited to feel guilt or anger. I felt nothing. Just a kind of silence, heavy and blank. I didn't tell anyone what I'd done. Not Emily, not my parents. I waited for the court notice to arrive. The envelope was thick and official, not the kind you get by mistake. The return address was the county courthouse. I opened it with a knife, sitting on the floor of my new apartment, legs crossed on the bare boards. Inside, the stamped notice, the details, the hearing date. I read it twice, then set it down. It was happening. Emily called that night, before I even finished dinner. I let it ring once before answering. "Are you seriously suing me?" Her voice was high, rushed, almost shaky. "Yes," I said. "This is the only way you'll take me seriously." She was quiet for a few seconds, then she started talking fast. "Just drop it, okay? I'll send you something. I just need a little more time. I can't deal with this right now." "You've had months," I said. "Email me proof of repayment by the end of the week, or I'll see you in court." My voice surprised me. I sounded like I was reading a script. "Are you kidding? You want to drag this through court. You want to humiliate everyone." Emily was almost whispering now, like she was worried someone could hear her. "You could have fixed this before," I said. She hung up without saying goodbye. I set my phone face down and went to wash my plate. My hands shook, but only a little. The next afternoon, Sarah texted me. She'd heard from Mom. Apparently Emily had called her, crying. Mom was furious, pacing around the kitchen, saying I was being heartless. Dad had already called Aunt Linda, telling her I was out for blood and trying to destroy the family over a few $1,000s. Sarah just said, "I'm sorry, this is so messed up, but I get it." I didn't text back right away. I sat by the window, watching the traffic on the street below. I thought about all the years Emily and I spent sharing a room, the way she used to sneak into my bed when there were thunderstorms. That was a long time ago. No one else called that week. My phone stayed silent, except for a couple of work emails and a grocery store reminder. I kept waiting for another message from Emily, but nothing came. 2 days before the deadline, I got an email from her lawyer. It was just an automated reply. "We have received your request. Someone will be in touch." I didn't reply. I printed everything I had, messages, receipts, the fake repayment plan she'd sent me months earlier. I put them in a folder and set it next to my keys. I started sleeping better. I stopped checking my phone every few minutes. On Friday, Sarah called again. She sounded tired. "Mom's been talking to everyone," she said. She's saying you're trying to ruin Emily's life. Dad says you're being dramatic. I told them you gave her plenty of chances, but they won't listen. Thanks, I said. Are you okay? Sarah asked. Yeah, I said. I'm fine. She didn't believe me, but she let it go. By Sunday, I still hadn't heard from Emily. No proof of repayment. No apology. Just silence. I made myself coffee, looked at the folder on my table, and realized I didn't feel angry anymore. Just done. The apartment was quiet. The world kept moving. My phone buzzed twice before I looked at it. I was at my desk, logging invoices for the week, and I almost ignored it. Then I saw the name, Uncle Mark. He rarely texted me, and never out of the blue. His message was short. Did they really steal from you? I stared at it for a minute. I didn't answer right away. I pulled up the folder on my phone with the screenshots, bank transfers, the forged signature, the emails from Emily. I forwarded them all to him, then locked my phone and went back to work. It took him 15 minutes to reply. You did the right thing. I didn't respond. I sat in my chair, watching the bar on my screen fill as a report exported. It was raining outside, and the office was half empty. I heard the girl behind me chewing gum and the copy machine clicking. For a few seconds, I just listened. At lunch, Sarah called. She didn't waste time. Emily's freaking out, she said. She's trying to get money together. She's calling everyone, even people she hasn't talked to in years. She wants to pay you back, said she'll do anything to keep this out of court. I kept my voice even. I just want what's owed. Sarah was quiet for a second, then said, She's saying you blindsided her. I laughed once, more out of breath than humor. She didn't sound surprised. The family group chat was silent all day. Usually it was a stream of forwarded news articles or memes, especially from Aunt Rita. At 3, a notification pinged. Rita had sent a meme with a cartoon dog holding a sign saying, Karma's coming, and she doesn't forget. No one replied. I opened it, looked at the timestamp, then closed the app. I didn't say anything. The rest of the week, I stuck to my routine. Wake up, shower, coffee, work. I answered emails, fixed numbers, ate lunch at my desk. My manager asked if I was okay. I said I was just tired. At home, I watched the dishes spin in the dishwasher and scrolled through old texts. No one from Emily's side reached out. My mother didn't call, and neither did my father. On Thursday, Sarah sent me another message. Emily's trying to get a loan. She said you can't do this to family. I typed back, she did it to herself, then deleted it. I just wrote, let me know if she has anything to say. In the evenings, I went for a walk around the block. Sometimes I thought I saw Emily's car parked on a side street, but I didn't check. I came home, locked the door, made tea, and sat by the window with my laptop open but untouched. The group chat stayed silent, except for the odd whether report or forwarded chain message. No one asked me for my side. No one asked Emily either, I guessed. It was a vacuum. Friday night, Mark texted again. Just checking in. If you need backup, let me know. I wrote, thanks, I'm fine. He replied with a thumbs up and nothing else. I put my phone face down and watched the streetlights flick on. I didn't feel relief or anger. It was just quiet. The story was out there now, and everyone knew what had happened, or at least the part I'd chosen to show. Emily was scrambling. The group chat was in lockdown. My week went on, one spreadsheet after another. No one called me a liar. No one called me anything at all. The email came in at 9:07 a.m. I was staring at a spreadsheet when Outlook pinged. It was someone named Mark D., her new husband, according to what I'd pieced together over the last few weeks. I recognized his last name from the wedding announcement her aunt had posted on Facebook. The body of the email was 3 lines. "We'd like to settle this privately. Emily will pay you in full if you agree not to appear in court tomorrow." There was a PDF attached. I opened it. It was from his bank, a digital receipt. My name in the notes. Emily's account. It matched the old transfer she'd sent me for the first payment, the one that bounced. The transfer was already processed. I didn't answer right away. I logged into my own bank account. The money wasn't pending. It had cleared. I sat there looking at the number, the balance higher than it had been in months. I could pay off my credit card, finally. I could fix my car's brakes. I stared at the line, settlement, Rachel, and wondered if Emily had even typed it herself. My phone buzzed. It was a reminder about the court date, automated. I opened a new email. Received. I will notify the court. I typed it twice before hitting send. No thank you, no extra words. The rest of the day I kept expecting something else. A retraction, a second email, a phone call. Nothing. At lunch, I checked my Facebook out of habit. I had a new friend request. The name was unfamiliar, Linda D. Her profile picture was a little dog in a sweater. I clicked the profile. Her last post was a wedding photo of Emily and Mark, both beaming, Emily in a dress I'd never seen. The caption was, "Family means everything," 8 likes. The message came through a minute later. "Sometimes justice is awkward, but necessary." That was all. No greeting, no signature. I didn't reply. I sat there in the break room, phone in my hand, sandwich half eaten. I wondered if Emily knew her mother-in-law had messaged me. If Mark knew. If this was some kind of warning, or apology, or just a statement for her own conscience. When I got home, I checked the court's website. The case was closed, marked settled out of court. I printed the page and put it on top of the folder with all the old texts and receipts, the evidence I'd spent weeks organizing. I didn't shred anything. I just closed the folder and slid it into the back of my desk drawer. The money was still in my account. I transferred some into savings, paid 2 bills, and left the rest. I didn't call anyone. I didn't tell my parents the case was over. I just let the day end. That night, I kept thinking about Linda D's message. I wondered if she'd sent it to protect Emily or to punish her. Maybe both. Maybe she wanted me to know someone else had seen what happened, and that was the real price. I didn't reply. I let it sit there unread, marked as new. The notification never went away. I lay awake for a long time. No relief, just a strange, hollow feeling. I kept picturing Emily's face at the wedding, the way she'd smiled for the camera. The money was in my bank, but something else had changed, something I couldn't put back the way it was. I waited for sleep, but it was slow to come. I sat at my kitchen table with my laptop open, the cursor blinking in the online portal. The legal claim against Emily sat there, all the documents uploaded, everything in place. The hearing was 3 weeks away. My lawyer had said we had a good case, probably better than hers. But I wasn't thinking about winning anymore. There was a line in the withdrawal form, reason for discontinuance. I left it blank. It took 3 clicks. Confirm withdrawal, digital signature, submit. The whole thing disappeared off the dashboard. No fanfare, not even a pop-up. Just a blank page and a line of text. Claim formally withdrawn. I opened my email and attached the court's confirmation PDF. The message to Emily was 2 lines. The claim is withdrawn. Attached is the official confirmation. I typed her name in the subject, just her first name. No greeting, no sign-off. I took a screenshot from my own records and hit send. I stared at my inbox for a while, watching for the little notification icon. Nothing. The sent folder was quiet. I refreshed, closed it, opened it again. Nothing came through from her side. No reply, no request for a call, not even a got it. I checked my phone. No text, no missed calls. The group chat with my parents, and Emily was still pinned at the top. The last message from a month ago, when Dad had sent a photo of his new tomato plants. I scrolled up, reading old conversations about birthdays and Sunday roasts, the odd meme from my mother. The last time Emily had said anything was a single thumbs-up emoji, weeks before the money issue started. I went to my desktop and opened the folder I'd kept for evidence. Screenshots, bank statements, copies of emails and WhatsApp messages, the call log, even the timeline spreadsheet I made for the lawyer. I clicked through them, one after the other. I didn't feel anything except a faint pressure behind my eyes. I right-clicked the folder and hit archive. The system zipped it up and tucked it away. Then I deleted the shortcut from my desktop. It was still on the hard drive, but I didn't need to see it every time I logged in. Back on my phone, I opened the family group chat. I scrolled up one last time. There was the photo of Emily's new kitchen, the one she'd paid for with the money she said she'd needed for her medical bill. There were the texts from my mother, asking if we could all try to get along, and Dad's awkward attempts at jokes. I paused on the one where Emily had written, "We're family, that's what matters." It was from last year, before the loans, before the lying. I pressed and held the chat, selected delete and confirmed. It vanished from the list. I sat there for a few minutes, waiting to see if anything would happen. I thought Emily might call, or that my mother would notice and text me. But nothing buzzed or rang. The house was quiet. I could hear the neighbor's TV through the wall and a car out on the street. It was a normal evening. I closed my laptop and put my phone face down. I got up and filled the kettle, made myself a cup of tea. I sat at the table and let it go cold. I didn't check my phone again. I knew if I did, it would still be silent. I paid the card off in one go. The statement showed the deposit, a line of black numbers that looked almost clinical. Balance, 0. I watched the payment clear, then shut the browser. After that, I called the bank and closed the account. The woman on the phone asked if I was sure. I said yes. She read her script and told me it was done. My parents didn't call. They sent a short email, "Hope you're well, let us know if you need anything." I didn't reply. My mother started tagging me in fewer family photos. My father's birthday passed without a group invitation. It felt like someone turning down the radio, not off, just lower. Aunt Lynn emailed. She said she'd heard about the misunderstanding and that not everyone agreed with how things were handled. She didn't take sides. Uncle Greg texted late one night, just a thumbs-up emoji. My cousin Rachel sent a message, "I'm glad you stood up for yourself." No one said it out loud, but nobody argued with me either. Emily unfriended me the day after the money came back. I checked out of habit and found nothing. No photos, no stories, no way to see her life anymore. I felt nothing at first, then a kind of hollow relief. She didn't send a message, not even to blame me. I started looking at flights. I kept it quiet. I made a spreadsheet and shopped for luggage. I told no one. The house was silent in the evenings, and I liked it that way. There were no more group chats, no more requests for help, no more sudden emergencies. I slept without my phone next to the bed. The account was closed. Everything else was, too. 6 months passed, and the quiet took over. I moved into a new apartment across town, cheaper place, smaller rooms, but mine. Most days I worked late and didn't check my phone much. One afternoon, a heavy envelope landed in my mailbox, cream paper with gold script. Sarah's name on the return address. Inside, a wedding invitation. She was marrying Mark, the friend from college who once sat at our kitchen table and ate my mom's lasagna. There was a handwritten note tucked in. "You were always my real sister. I want you there." She called me guest of honor, the only title that didn't make me laugh. Nobody in my family mentioned Emily's wedding anymore. If I saw my parents, it was at short, clipped lunches. My father always asking if I was eating enough, my mother staring at her coffee. Emily didn't. Her name didn't come up. When I scrolled through my mother's social media, the old family photos were still there, smiling at graduation, the four of us at the lake. But nothing recent. No new pictures from holidays, no captions about proud parents. Even at Christmas, just a photo of their dog on the porch. It was like the family shrank behind the scenes. I kept waiting for someone to bring up the video, but it never happened. People at work stopped whispering. Nobody asked questions. I think my parents wanted to move past it, or maybe they didn't know how. Sometimes I'd see my dad online at midnight, active now on Messenger, but he never sent a message. I didn't either. The silence became normal. I didn't miss the noise. Sarah's invitation sat on my desk for weeks. I opened it again sometimes, smoothing the paper flat, reading her handwriting. There was no hurry. This all started because I chose not to stay silent when my own sister crossed a line. I keep replaying it in my head. If I'd just ignored what she did, maybe things would be easier now, but it wouldn't be right. I want to know how other people see this. Would you have risked the family fallout to call her out, or tried to keep it in the family, even if it meant letting her get away with it? I know some people would say blood is everything, but that doesn't feel true after what happened. Have you ever had to pick between protecting your family's reputation and standing up for yourself? Did you regret your choice, or was it worth it? Let me know in the comments. I read every one. If stories like this help you feel less alone, consider subscribing and hitting like. And if you think someone you know would understand this, maybe share it with them. I'm still not sure what I should have done differently, so tell me, what would you have done in my place?